So let me read you the definition of Crohn's real quick. So for our audience, if they don't
Yeah.
actually know what it is. So it's a chronic condition classified under inflammatory bowel disease. It involves long-term inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract, which can affect any part from the mouth to the anus, but most commonly begins in the lower small intestine, ileum, and the beginning of the large intestine, colon. So, you can have anything that
Yeah,
from,
from your
I mean,
esophagus to your
literally all the way down can be Crohn's, and it's autoimmune. So it's never going away. It's not like, oh,
yeah.
she's going to take these meds and it's going to be fixed tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It is something she will live with her entire life, not to be depressing.
But it's also, I think, more than that, it affects every aspect of my body.
Yeah.
So for years before that, like all of my friends in high school would be like, why do you walk so weird? Well, because my joints were in such chronic pain that I had learned to walk around so my knees would point out. And so like I still do, I get really bad general fatigue. I get joint pain. I can tell you when it's going to rain. I can tell you when the weather's going to change.
Welcome to Her Unshakeable Confidence. I'm Simone Knego.
And I'm Olivia Knego.
And today we're going to talk about something that is really, I don't want to say near and dear, but
Not
something
dear.
that is
Something
it's
that's
not
near,
dear.
not dear.
It's something that's very near, something that's ever present in our life, which is Crohn's disease, right? So Liv was
Wah.
diagnosed. Yeah, right. Liv was diagnosed with Crohn's when she was 16 years old. We were kind of bad parents in that moment because,
Dude. Yeah, you were.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like,
were. No, I
she
want to
kept
tell
on
the story
saying,
from my
go.
perspective.
Okay, you go.
Okay.
You go. And then I'll
So-
tell it from my perspective.
I was like going through like a weight loss journey at that point in my life. So then I started to lose weight faster. But I was like, like I don't really care. Like that's a good thing. I mean, 16-year-old me at the time thought that was a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
16-year-old you.
we go on summer vacation. And I think starting in August, like right as we get back, I'm complaining the entire time about my stomach hurting all the time. At first, I just thought it was like extreme period cramps. And that was when I was managing volleyball. And there was a girl on my team who would always give me Midol, except after 2 weeks, she was like, I don't think you're on your period anymore. Like, what is going on? I was like, I don't know. My stomach just hurts all the time. And I said this from probably August, September, October. November is when I went to the doctor.
Okay. There is some guilt there. I'm going to look the other way because there is some guilt there. Yeah. Again, with 6 kids, you can't tell. Like, if you're complaining that your stomach hurts, do you not want to go to school? Like, is there something else going on? Like, is your friend being mean to you and you're not telling us? So I think there was a lot of that there. And, again, we got it sorted, but yeah, it took a big chunk out of us. So basically, she had dropped a ton of weight, and at that point, not on purpose. It was because she was so sick. So
I was eating like ice cream every single day too, and I was still losing weight.
yeah, so we went in to see the GI doctor, and he did some.
No, that
blood
is
work
not
on
what
her.
happened.
Okay, go.
I went to see our like family friend pediatrician.
Okay.
After
Yes.
like for a while of saying that I want to go in, and somehow he got me in like a last minute appointment to see him at like his closing shift. He walks in with a Diet Coke, which is ingrained in my brain. Because like, how does he know I like Diet Coke?
Because he has to take because he drinks Diet Coke all day long because he's ADHD and he refuses to take meds.
He also knows that I'm ADHD,
Yes.
so he gives me the Diet Coke, and that was probably the longest appointment. And his are really long. Like he's a good doctor. He likes to sit down with you and discuss everything.
No,
he likes
amazing.
to know about your kids and like every part of your life. But this appointment was like the longest appointment that I had, and I'd gone by myself because at that point. Actually, I don't know when you were able to start going to doctor's appointments by yourself, but I started going by myself at 16. I started going at 16 to the dermatologist. You would just write me a note and I'd go.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's actually real, but let's keep going.
Okay. Well, the point is not whatever. And I sat down and he like actually for the first time made me think it was something very serious because he took it very seriously. Because before that, I think we all kind of just assumed that either I'd picked up something from our summer vacation, even though our summer vacation was in Canada. So I don't know why like that was a rational thought, but you never know. You never know.
Jumping in a lake.
Yeah,
lake anywhere
exactly.
can give you weird things.
Or like I was applying for colleges right at that time. Like I was going through that whole process. And like that is inherently stressful. For no reason, actually.
Oh, completely stressful. It's like one of the most stressful things from your time you're born to the time you actually go off to college, that's probably the most stressful thing you do.
So like up until that appointment though, I would just been like, well, it's just stress, or it's just I probably have like some sort of bug. And at that, it like he tested for everything. Quite literally everything that you could be tested for that related to a stomach thing. And at first my Crohn's markers showed up negative, but the inflammation, because the Crohn's thing, like the blood tests there, that they're not great. They're like kind of predictive, but they're not completely. But like my inflammation levels, that's what the sign was. And then we went to the GI doctor who literally saw me. He got me in for a colonoscopy, I think 2 days later, an after hour shift too.
Okay, so Alan did the test for the markers.
Yeah.
Okay, so see again, bad parent. Like I thought it was.
You were out of town for that appointment because I remember you were out of town for this appointment.
Parent.
No, here's why. Because actually, this will make you feel a little bad. But it's a Simone Knego comment.
Oh my gosh,
it's a Simone Knego comment that you love to say. And it was fine. Like it was a 4-day trip. I don't know how much changed in 4 days, but I hadn't. Like maybe the first day you left, that's when I went to the appointments and he prescribed all the blood tests and I hadn't done them yet. And you looked at me when you got home and you're like, oh my gosh, you look horrible.
I do remember saying that. I was like, you look horrible. What's wrong with you? You look horrible.
And then I went and got my blood tests. So yeah.
Okay. And your markers were through the roof.
Yeah, like actually insane when I think about it now. How high they were versus where I am now. Like we're talking 100% or 100 times, like 100x higher than where I am now.
Yeah. And we had the colonoscopy or you had a colonoscopy. I sat there.
Oh my God. You're like, you're running by the colonoscopy thing. Okay. First of all, I'm a 16-year-old girl. I'm already embarrassed that I'm having stomach issues and shitting my pants frequently. Okay. Like, at that point, I had been gluten-free, red meat-free, and dairy-free like for a year. When I said ice cream earlier, it was the vegan ice cream. But like, and so when people would say like, what do you do dietary for? I would only say that I would throw it up. I never said that I'd have diarrhea because I was so embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
So
diarrhea
when I went,
it's not embarrassing. It is not embarrassing.
No, everyone does it. Grr. Now that I'm older, but like when I was 16,
what do we say? Hold on. What do we say? If you say you haven't shit your pants, we don't believe you.
Yeah, you're lying.
Don't lie.
You're literally lying. Stop that.
There's not one person that hasn't done
Absolutely. Okay, even if it's just like a little bit, like, come on. But
even if you started yourself, yes.
I was 16. I was embarrassed about talking about any of that because you're 16 and you're literally overthinking every aspect of your life.
Of course.
So that was such a big deal to me. The fact that I was going in for a colonoscopy, I felt like I couldn't tell anybody about it. And then the prep itself is horrible. Well, the first time was horrible. It's gotten better every single time we've done it. But you mean like, horrible in the traditional sense, like, yeah, it's clearing your intestinal guts out. But like for me, it made me like violently
intestinal guts.
I don't know how to say it. You know what I mean? But it made me violently ill, like violently, like throwing up. And like who likes to throw up? Not me. So, and then the colonoscopy happened. And then I still couldn't eat afterwards. That I think to me was the worst part.
She was so upset. So like, okay, so this is the first colonoscopy. So I'm waiting, I walk into the recovery room and she's laying there and she's like, oh my gosh, you're still here. I was like, of course I'm here. She's like, her eyes close again. Oh my gosh, you're still here. I was like, yes, I'm still here. And then the doctor comes in and he tells us that she has pretty severe Crohn's and that, he really wants her to not eat anything for the next couple of days and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, wait, what the heck? Like, I literally didn't eat anything for the last couple of days and now I can't eat for the next couple of days.
Yeah, but like we had the inflammation in my stomach or because my Crohn's is predominantly in my ileum. So the inflammation there was so bad they didn't want me eating solid foods.
Yeah, so she did that. And then she had to go on what we called a white trash diet. I think that's a really good description of it, right? White rice, white bread, potatoes. Like it was literally like white trash.
Yeah. Nothing acidic. No cruciferous vegetables. I learned what a cruciferous vegetable is.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys know what that means? I mean,
probably most people
broccoli,
don't.
Yeah.
Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale.
All the things that make you fart. That's cruciferous, right? Yeah. So, yeah, so she started on this whole path. She had to do that for a while, that whole white trash diet to kind of get things to
Oh,
calm down.
you're like triggering memories for me
I'm
because
so sorry because
no,
she
not a
loves like
bad
all
way.
the food. She loves all the food. Like she
But
is
like
the
I think
foodie.
about that time, the food wasn't the worst part. The worst part was I had to go on high doses of steroids for like 4 months.
You were a mean girl.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was very
Yeah.
emotional.
Oh yeah.
I cried one time at like the last day of school for winter break. I sat in my favorite teacher's office and just sat there and cried the whole day while like she would slip me chocolate across the table.
Again, horrible. So this was November of 2019. So she gets diagnosed. She has to take some time off from school. She goes back slowly. And then March of 2020, everything shuts down for COVID. So basically,
And
senior year completely lost.
I want to say on top of that, you're like, well, you guys lived in Florida. First of all, we took COVID very seriously. Second of all, Crohn's isn't just affecting my stomach. Like Crohn's at its core, it's an autoimmune disease. So essentially, my immune system attacks my healthy white blood cells when instead of attacking viruses. And because of that, especially at that time frame, my immune system was so weak. Luckily, we had a very good family, I would say. No one fought about the idea of, wait, I can't go out because Liv can't go out,
Correct.
which I think in some families there was like that kind of resentment. But like for other people, I remember, they did do like the senior party, even though they definitely probably shouldn't have, but they did do a bunch of other things. And for me, like the most interaction I got, I had two best friends in high school that were amazing. And they would come over in literally 6 feet apart from me in the driveway. And that's how I would get my...
Or in the back patio. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was fantastic. I'm lucky that I had friends that would do that for me.
And the family members like followed suit. Like they just didn't go out and hang out with people because we didn't know what was going to happen. So let me read you the definition of Crohn's real quick. So for our audience, if they don't actually know what it is. So it's a chronic condition classified under inflammatory bowel disease. It involves long-term inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract, which can affect any part from the mouth to the anus, but most commonly begins in the lower small intestine, ileum, and the beginning of the large intestine, colon. So, you can have anything that like from
your esophagus to your...
literally all the way down can be Crohn's, and it's autoimmune. So it's never going away. It's not like, oh, she's going to take these meds and it's going to be fixed tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It is something she will live with her entire life, not to be depressing.
But it's also, I think, more than that, it affects every aspect of my body. So for years before that, like all of my friends in high school would be like, why do you walk so weird? Well, because my joints were in such chronic pain that I had learned to walk around so my knees would point out. And so like I still do, I get really bad general fatigue. I get joint pain. I can tell you when it's going to rain. I can tell you when the weather's going to change.
Thank you, Grandma.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
What are my other things? I mean, yeah, those are the things like outside of like bloating and, stomach pain. Predominantly.
You can get skin issues. There's all kinds of things.
My God. I forgot about that. I had the first year of my diagnosis, I had such bad atopic dermatitis right here and right around my mouth.
Yeah. So in the United States, researchers estimate that about 1 million people are living with Crohn's disease.
That is way less than I thought.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Most people are diagnosed between, I saw it earlier, like 16 and 20, which I thought was really interesting. But that a study found the prevalence of Crohn's among children was 71 per 100,000. So, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough thing. So for years, now they have really good drugs. They have really good biologics that can really control it. And we'll talk about that in a second because Liv just had a colonoscopy and found out she was no longer in remission. But, we have a cousin that has Crohn's and he had to have part of his colon resected so that, because there was no way to, again, there's no way to cure it, but there was no way to fix that piece.
Yeah.
So My new book, Real Confidence, A Simple Guide to Go from Unsure to Unshakable, will be coming out on February 17th, and it's available for pre-order now. So if you'll go to realconfidencebook.com, you can order it from your favorite online retailer. And there's lots of bonuses that will come with a pre-order. So when you go there, you can see everything that you're going to get with it. You just have to put in your order number, and the bonuses will be delivered to your inbox.
You better buy my mom's book.
Because it's amazing?
Because it's amazing.
Yeah. I love you too.
Because the cool thing, so back in the day meaning like maybe, when was I diagnosed? 2019. So probably like 2010 is when biologics started hitting the market, maybe even later than that. And obviously they keep getting better every single year. I mean, the first biologic that I can think of was Humira. You had to get that every 2 weeks. Now Skyrizi, it's like once every 2 months. So like that alone is great. But before biologics, the way of treating it wasn't healing. It was getting the inflammation under the control, but past damage couldn't be healed. So like if you had a narrowing or like just a buildup of scar tissue, like that would always be a worry because steroids weren't necessarily able to treat that. Also, then you have to take the risk and just like the life settlement of being on steroids for long periods of time. And everything that they've ever said about steroids is true.
In terms of it makes you miserable, right?
You
can't sleep,
water
makes you jittery.
retentive.
Right.
It makes you angry. It makes you emotional. It makes you feel like you are so not in control of your life.
Yeah. I mean, so if we look at Crohn's, I think a lot of it is genetics. I mean, we definitely have people in the family
both
that
sides.
have a lot of
you both sides.
Yeah, me both sides. A lot of issues. But you look at kind of where you started and where you are now. So, you know, when you first started, it was just the steroids. And then you went to a biologic, Stelara.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty good, right? Like you
for
really
5
were.
years.
Yeah, you were really under control for a significant period of time. Your last colonoscopy was 3 years ago before the one we had. I say we. I didn't have a colonoscopy.
She just came.
I know. I'm just there to pick her
She
up.
just got the trip.
I don't even drive her. Like I ordered the Uber.
We'll talk on that too. I'm privileged in that way, but yeah.
But so that really controlled it for a long period of time. So your last colonoscopy was 3 years ago, and you were in remission. Like there was no evidence of ulcerations, everything. There was no inflammation. Like you looked solid. And then you went to law school. And so one of the big things behind Crohn's disease is managing stress, right? Well, okay, life is impossible, right? It's hard to manage stress. So forget what you're eating. They're like, oh, if you control your diet, which again, I don't think the doctor actually says that.
No.
Like I don't think you should be eating like a tub of hot sauce, but
my doctor, I've talked to them about this, and one of them was like, unless you are somehow going to go on a Mediterranean diet and like literally cook everything yourself, no processed foods, the olive oil, the fish, the fried, I was like, when he said that to me, I was like, I am an undergrad, dude. Yeah. You think I have that kind of money? He's like, no, I didn't expect that, but that's why we have good medications.
Yeah. So let's talk about the medication, because like that has been a struggle for us too, is that when you talk about insurance, so.
Oh, my homies hate insurance.
The first $8,000 is out of pocket. So they have like this card that like helps you with stuff. It's so complicated. Let me tell you how many hours I spent on the phone trying to get them to cover the stuff and each injection. So she does with the current medication. Obviously, we're going to talk about what she's switching to. The current medication, she does an injection every 4 weeks, and every injection is around $20,000. $20,000. So if you don't have insurance, like you can't do this. And with insurance, you have to fight it every second of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like now I've taken over the insurance battles now.
Yeah.
But
she's 22. She's taken
quite
over.
literally exhausting. They don't talk to each other. No one talks to each other. When I tell them to talk to each other, they don't talk to each other. they don't follow up with me. They don't follow up with each other. And like they being the insurance company and the pharmacy and like the pharmaceutical savings company, all of it is so exhausting. And like, I have the time on my hands to do it. Like, okay, yeah, I'm in law school, but I don't work a 9 to 5. Like I can sit on the phone while I do work and wait for a representative to answer the phone. A lot of people don't have that privilege to sit on the phone and do that, nor do they have, private insurance through a parent employer. A lot of people, I don't even know if their insurance would think about covering it.
Yeah. It's been one of the biggest struggles. And so typically the medication she's on, Stelara, is at once every 8 weeks. But because her case is so severe, the doctor insisted that she does once every 4 weeks. And so they got it approved, right? And they keep on getting it approved. But it has been one of the biggest struggles. Literally, I can't tell you how many, and I love saying the word literally, I can't tell you how many hours I've spent on the phone between the pharmacy, the pharmaceutical company, the insurance company, trying to get them to understand what is happening. And fortunately, most of the time, it's getting covered. But there are times where they're like, nope, sorry. I'm like, wait.
At the beginning of the year.
You just did it last year.
Yeah.
Like, why is this different?
At the beginning of the year this year, there was a $6,000 balance. And then I had to go back through and be like, wait, this balance is from 2023. Why is it showing up now? It's like, I don't need to get into the bureaucracy behind how American insurance companies work. Just know that they're so disorganized and that most of the time, I don't even think they're caring about their patrons. I would feel solid saying that I don't think they care about their patrons. Because it's a nightmare and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, as a patient, it shouldn't be. Like if you have a disease and you have insurance, I don't understand why they can't figure out how to cover it. Now, I understand with these new treatments, and that's the thing. Like a lot of this stuff is new treatments, but that's how the world works. Like, right? Are we gonna treat Crohn's the same way we did 20 years ago? No way. Yeah. Right. So why aren't we trying to figure out how do we move forward on this path? Anyways, so we've actually had very good success, even though it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that brings us to last week.
Wait, I want to finish up on that point though.
Okay, sure.
The fact that one 90 milligram injection costs that much money gives me the biggest stress in my life because if I mess up the injection, that is a drop of that, Like that's how I have to quantify it. Like a drop of that is more money than I've made in the entire year. I am unemployed, but still the point remains. Or like if it gets like it has to be temperature controlled. And there was one time that FedEx did not deliver it. And I had to like panic call the pharmacy. Luckily, my specific medication can sit on a shelf for like 21 days. But it's so stressful, And I was offered when I first got on to do an infusion over an injection because that would mean at least like the infusion center is handling the logistics of getting it, but then that would mean an hour at multiple hours a month sitting somewhere versus 5 minutes with an injection. It's all, these are not like sacrifices we should have to make,
Yeah. And you had to also learn how to give yourself injections.
Oh, I don't do that now.
I know your boyfriend does it, but you did it for a bit.
Yeah. I
tried. I sucked at it. Like I gave her one. She was like, okay, that was the worst thing ever. I gave you a couple. The last one was the worst thing ever. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is too stressful for me.
Well, that's why I stopped doing it because my hands would shake the entire time.
Yeah.
So Jack just does it and he's pretty good at it.
Because it's not like a thing where you just put it on your stomach and you know, inject. You have to grab a chunk of fat. You've got to get it in a certain place. Hate to say it like that, but you got to get it in a certain place. Like it's not just simple and it's stressful. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go to where we are today.
Where we are today is I am incredibly lucky. My professors do not believe me when I tell them I go to New York for my medical appointments, but I am very lucky to be at the Crohn's clinic at Mount Sinai with one of the best doctors in the world for Crohn's. You might be wondering, like my mom said earlier, I'd only had my colonoscopy 3 years ago. And usually for Crohn's, you get them every 6 months. But with my doctor, she actually like kind of pioneered this program to use ultrasound to identify any inflammation or narrowing in your intestinals lining or your intestinal tract. So that way Crohn's patients and UC patients don't have to regularly get colonoscopies, A, because of the cost, B, because of, it's not a fun thing to do.
It's a lot.
Yeah, the more you can avoid it, the better. So that I'm very privileged to be there. I'm very privileged to be at like probably the best hospital for Crohn's besides maybe U Chicago. And I will not give up my doctor. I think I thought about that like a couple weeks ago. And then after this appointment, I was like, okay, this is reaffirmed that I have to stay there.
So we fly in. So we flied in. We flew in last week. We flied in. We flew in last week. Basically, we got there. You started your prep. You did your prep the entire night, and then the next morning we went into the hospital. You had your colonoscopy, and then we left. And so let's talk about the colonoscopy itself.
I mean, like, oh my God. Actually, I was like, that's not bad. This time, no hate to the nurses. I guess I have really good veins, but this time, oh my God, they were taking blood beforehand. I give a lot of blood. I probably give blood every 6 months and like 8 vials. We're not talking like a casual little thing. Like it takes it out of you. And this time they're doing blood and my vein just starts spewing and I can't handle it. I can't handle blood. I can't handle wounds. I can't handle anything gross. Which is partially why I can't inject myself because that freaks me out. And I literally almost passed out. They had to put my feet up, put a towel on me because I could just see the blood spewing out of my vein. But other than that, the colonoscopy was fine. I make the same joke every single time I get it. I understand how Michael Jackson could be addicted to these drugs and usually never gets any laughs. Once again, did not get any laughs.
Yeah, well,
but the actual,
because every time I've had it, I'm like, oh, these are good drugs.
Yeah, they give you like really great anesthesia, and I guess like that's a perk from it because you spent the entire night like, oh my God, my stomach hurts so bad, and then you go in and you're finally able to sleep. I mean, they take biopsies, but you don't feel them. Obviously, you're under, and then you don't feel like the effects afterwards.
Yeah, and then we went home, and so obviously the doctor gave you some news from what she saw, and what did she say?
That I have to switch meds because I have inflammation again, so it means I'm no longer in remission.
No longer in remission. Yeah.
It's exactly where I thought it would be, in my ileum. And I knew this was coming in my heart of hearts because since I would say maybe April of this year, I've been having issues that have like been consistently there. And like I knew, especially this semester, and like I was being hard on myself last week about this. Like I knew that I wasn't taking good care of myself the way I need to be with having an autoimmune disorder and having a stomach disease. And it kind of just like caught up to me in that moment that like, hey, my meds are no longer working the best. And like, I'm not taking care of myself as I should. I'm not eating the best. I'm not sleeping great. Like, all of the above, they're considerations that you think people just tell you because like they're wellness gurus. But for me, it's like, it affects my everyday life.
It's real life. Yeah.
But I think I grieved a little bit, obviously, because I celebrated so hard when I was finally told I was in remission. Because it goes from being such an active thought in your mind to like being like, hey, that's cool. I'm in remission. And now it's back to being like an active thought in my mind. Like, for the rest of the semester, I have to give up some of my responsibilities at school. I have to coordinate with my professors. Next semester, I'm lowering my course load so I can keep up with my health because I wasn't able to maintain it with the way I was working this semester. And I think it was just like a reminder for me that this is a lifelong illness. Like you were saying earlier, like this will always be with me. There's going to be times like that 3-year chunk where I was great. I was very healthy. And then there's going to be times right now where it's like, okay, you got to put life a little bit on pause so you can adjust what's going on in your stomach.
Yeah. So let's talk about like when you got home from the procedure. One of the things I feel like I've taught you and the other kids is the whole idea of being proactive and really self-advocating. So I want to talk about what you did when we got home from the procedure, but also the idea of how do you move forward?
Yeah. So I feel like the moving forward is the easier to answer because we've had this rule ever since I've been diagnosed, which is you give yourself a couple of days to grieve, you give yourself a couple of days to cry, and then you come up with an action plan. And I kind of
try to stay there forever, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
You could be miserable forever if you
can let it bog down your life.
And that's one of the things on the negative.
Dad called me about right after, and he was like, one of the things I'm so proud of you is that you're able to not let it define your life. And it's just a thing that is you have. It's not your whole identity.
Right.
And so I really do try to embody that. And in terms of self-advocating, I feel like I am just a pretty good advocate for myself in general, being I have accommodations related to my ADHD. And then with this, so the first thing I did was email my dean and said like, hey, let's schedule a meeting. Here's what's going on in my life. From there, I discussed with her about like action steps, what we can do. Honestly, I kind of just like needed reassurance for someone at the school that like they're here for me and that I'm not going to be penalized for, adjusting my commitments and adjusting my schedule for next semester. And then right now I'm informing the professors that I think it's relevant for them to know. So like my research professor and my note advisor, I'm scheduling a meeting with him to say, hey, like I have to slow down till next semester. And like just explaining the situation because these people don't know what you're going through. And I know it's law school. It's like, it is law school, but like they're still like professors are human. The deans are human. And
yeah, it's real life.
The American Disability Act exists. So they have to give you stuff. Otherwise they'll be not so compliant. But no, but beyond that, like I would say that one of the reasons I truly love Belmont is the faculty there. I think they're so strong, compassionate, and caring and intelligent. And I felt very comfortable just, going up to my professors and telling them what's going on. Because like, to me, I know when I was 16, it was this big secret. Like, I don't want people to know about it. Like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. But now I feel like I've just become so comfortable with it. Like, I would tell you my first colonoscopy was done by a male GI doctor, and I was so uncomfortable. And even the next couple of ones, I remember the first one I did with my New York doctor, she's a woman. There was only females in the room because that's what I requested. And this time I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of just get over the embarrassment factor once you've shit your pants enough times, to be quite honest.
And I don't think it should be embarrassing. I mean, we all go through things all of the time, right? But we are so afraid that we're going to be judged or what will other people say? What will other people think? Instead of saying like, what's the best thing for me? Like, how do I move forward? How do I self-advocate? How do I make decisions that are really going to move my entire life forward? And I think that's so important.
Yeah, and I would like to say something that you always say, which is self-care is not selfish. And to add on to that, even if it is, I don't care. My health comes first because you got like my greatest fear might be gorillas, but my actual greatest fear is getting an ostomy bag, like and having to wear an ostomy bag. And I will do everything in my power to prevent it because it is a real possibility with Crohn's. I mean, so many individuals with Crohn's and UC have ostomy bags, and I want to avoid that at all costs. And that means taking care of myself when I need to.
And it's not just taking care of yourself physically, it's taking care of yourself mentally. Right?
Yeah.
So it's part of whether you talk to a therapist and saying it out loud. I mean, I think that's such a huge thing is that, oh my gosh, we're so embarrassed to say, oh, I shit my pants, or like, this is what I struggle with, which is so ridiculous because there is not one person that doesn't struggle. But I understand, like, when we're struggling with something, it is hard to say it out loud, to ask for help, to be the first one to step forward and say, here's what's going on.
Yeah. And I don't know, to anybody listening that's suffering with a similar thing, I know self-advocating can be so scary. Like I unfortunately, that's a skill that I had to like grow up pretty fast with because I had to learn to talk to all of my professors, even in undergrad, about everything. But it is so worth it because most people are very compassionate.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, again, I don't know if I've run into a single person that hasn't been. Like, for example, this is, do you remember freshman year of my college was COVID year. They sent us home at Thanksgiving, but we had to do finals at home. And I had a huge presentation, but my doctor needed like back in Sarasota, the labs, they're not as like, they're good, but they're not as good as the ones in New York. Yeah. He needed like immediately blood testing to test the levels in my blood for my Stelara to see if it was working or not. Spoiler, at that point it wasn't because it was every 8 weeks. But when I told my professor, just was honest with her, not saying like, I literally, not like some bullshit excuse or whatever. I was like, I need to go get this done. Can I please go first in class? She goes, I have UC. I totally understand. Do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. Again, you don't know until you say it out loud.
Yes.
And I'm such a big proponent for saying what you struggle with. Like, here's what I struggle with. And I know for a lot of us, like, it's a hard thing. We feel embarrassed. We feel shamed by things. And I just think it's so important that when we talk about anything that we have going on, that we talk about what we struggle with, that we talk about what we've been through, so that we can move our lives forward and we can feel confident in what we do.
I completely agree.
Okay, you got your calendar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You've got this. Look at your track record. You've really got this. You'll make it work just like you always have. You had it then and you've got it now. I'm actually going to pin that to my wall. I
feel like that's a really good one, right? I mean, you've got this. Whatever you're going through, you've got this. Say it out loud. Talk to someone. Let them know what you're going through. Don't hide it. Like, that's how you move forward, is by really taking ownership. And that's how we build confidence, is not hiding from things, but by saying them out loud.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Her Unshakable Confidence. Please remember to rate, review, share it with your friends if this episode touched you. And I'm sure it will, because there are so many people that are struggling with something right now. Thanks so much for being here. Always remember, you are unshakable.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Her Unshakable Confidence with Simone and Olivia Knego. We hope this episode has made your day just a little bit brighter and given you the inspiration you need to confidently go about your week. Always remember to be authentically you. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And feel free to connect with them on Instagram at Simone Knego and at Olivia Knego. Till next time.